Buenos días, es el miércoles, son las 12. Hello everyone, it's Wednesday and it's 12 o'clock, so it's time for our second community Spanish of the week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. We also have our community French going on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 8:30. And now the children's schedule has officially changed so that children's French will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. and children's Spanish is every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 3:30 p.m. still in the afternoon slot. So we have going for our Facebook Live lessons, and then in addition, we have our Instagram Live lessons going as well, so you can catch some more content for French and content for Portuguese on our Instagram as well. So we've got lots going on. Speaking of lots going on, we also have our August classes coming up very soon. So if you would like to get into a class, you're welcome to check out our website and see the different things we have on offer for the different levels, different formats, different prices, all different schedules, all that stuff is all on our website. So you're welcome to check that out. If you have any questions or need any help to find the right class for you, please feel free to reach out to us so we can assist you to do that. Today's video is a kind of continuation, actually. As I mentioned in my video on Monday, we are going to be doing a kind of two-part series since this topic was a little bit dense, and so it was kind of a lot for one video. So what I decided to do is just split it up and did most of the instruction on our Monday video, and then today we're going to do just a quick review of the instruction and mostly get into the practice elements of using this. So we're working on the pronombres demostrativos, or demonstrative pronouns, words like this, that, these, those kind of words, but in Spanish. So as I said, I'm just going to do a quick review first of what we learned on Monday, and if you want to get a review of that kind of in depth, you're welcome to go back and look at the video from Monday to see the explanation, full explanation. But today I'm going to just kind of briefly review it to make sure that the points are still fresh in our minds before we get into practicing. So we're going to do actually a couple of exercises together. Normally in these videos, we only do about one exercise, but this time because we're focused primarily on the practice, we're going to do two exercises. And then I'm going to post an additional exercise up on the website, on the Facebook Live page of our website. So you can get even more practice on there if you want to get kind of an extra boost into practicing these pronouns. But I think this is one of those topics where luckily it's the kind of thing that we can actually practice every day. So you have a lot of opportunities to use this because you can always describe what's around you using these words. And so that's something that you don't have to be in a Spanish classroom to practice these, and you can even just kind of use them in your head to explain what's in your environment. And so it's something that you can really practice as often as you'd like. So let's get into it. So as I said, I'm just going to do a quick review of what we went over on Monday first, and then we'll get into our practice. So first points we talked about was the words to explain here, there, and over there. So in general, these words are aquí for here, allí for there, and allá for over there. So those are kind of our three different set of distances, describing things that are here, there, and over there, different distances between us and the object. Now, so for describing things that are here, that are aquí, we're going to use words like este, esta, estos, and estas. So remember that we have to make this agree with the thing or the object that we are describing. Is the thing feminine or masculine? Is it singular or plural? We have to make this decision and then choose the right word to describe this thing. Again, between este, esta, estos, and estas. And so these words are what represent this and these in English. So that's our first group of words we studied on Monday. Next, for things that are allí, there, which would be the words that and those in English, we have ese, esa, esos, esas. So we have to make the same decision. Is it masculine or feminine, singular or plural? So we have four different options for these words for the second group of things that are there, allí. Okay. Now, for our third category, we have things that are allá, over there, like when there's not a good amount of distance between you and the object you're describing. So for those things, we're going to use the words aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas. So again, these are things that there's a big, pretty sizable distance between us and the thing. Of course, this is going to be relative to the environment, and so it's a little bit subjective about what's the difference, so how you explain the distance between you and the thing. But in general, we have to make a choice. So with this one, it's the exact same thing as the last two categories: feminine, masculine, singular, plural, and that's why we have four different words to choose from in this category. Now, the last couple of points that we talked about in our video in depth on Monday was that we also have the word, we also use these words to describe not only physical distance between us and things, but also distance in terms of time. So we wanted to explain like some time that was either close to us in this point in time, so maybe it was in the recent past or the recent future, or something that was farther away. Again, we can use these words to describe when this moment relates to us now. So we can also use these for time, not just for physical space. We also mentioned that these words can not only be a word that you put in front of a noun, in front of a thing, but you can actually also use this word as a replacement for saying the name of the thing again and again. Again, assuming we have some kind of context to understand what's being referred to, then we can just use the word by itself to represent not only the distance, but also the thing itself. So, for example, we had a sentence here, ¿cuál te gusta más? Esa. So in this context, we had this situation, we were talking about a shirt. Okay, so now we're using the word esa to not only explain the distance, that it's that one over there, or that one there, but also we're, instead of repeating the word camisa again, we're using the word esa to also represent the thing itself. So we're using this as really as a pronoun, as what the grammatical function is. So that's how we also spoke about these words on Monday, as one not only showing distance, but also as a replacement for the thing. Once we have some context to know what's being referred to, then we can just refer back to it without having to mention the name of the thing again and again. And the last thing we mentioned were about this set of two what we call neutral pronouns. So this is either for things that either like we're not quite sure what it is we're describing, so it's hard for us to name and say, okay, it's this like gender and this number, because we're not really sure what we're describing, or it's something that maybe we mentioned some time ago, but now it's kind of in the past, and so it's not super fresh. So that's where the words eso and esto come in handy. So these are for these things where either we're not sure what it is we're describing, or it's kind of something in general. Again, it's not quite defined. Or something that was kind of in the past that we're now referring to, but it's, again, we're a little bit kind of distantly related to it. So that was kind of the overview of the things that we learned in Monday's video. So before we go on to do our couple practice exercises, let's just repeat these words one more time to help our brain to absorb them. So, por favor, repiten después de mí. So please repeat after me. Este, esta, estos, estas, ese, esa, esos, esas, aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas, esto, eso. Muy bien. Okay, so let's get into our practice and see how well we've been able to absorb these ideas. So we're going to start with this kind of quick exercise to get us warmed up, where we have to choose the right option. So please feel free to write in the comments below what you think for each one, and we'll see if it's matching up with what the explanations that we just learned. So, número uno, ¿puedes darme ese, esa, or aquellos formularios de allá, por favor? Okay, so this one, our keyword here we can see is allá. As we learned, allá means over there, way over there. So knowing that, is it ese, esa, or aquellos? In this case, it's going to be aquellos. Okay, aquellos, because we're saying those ones over there. So aquellos. And another trick for this one to help you know that this is the right thing is because we see the word formularios. We can tell by the ending this one must be masculine and plural. So we can also choose the right answer based on that information, because while this one, esa, is feminine and singular, so we know it's definitely not right. This one is masculine and singular, so we know that's not right. So it has to be aquellos. So even if you didn't remember what the word allá means, you could also choose the right answer if you're kind of in this test-taking strategy format. Obviously, in real life, they don't present you options of how you finish your sentence. But just for the purpose of this exercise, you could also choose the right answer of aquellos just on that information. Okay, número dos. ¿Te gusta esta, eso, or aquel mesa en el comedor? Okay, so this one we're describing mesa en el comedor. okay, in the dining room, okay? So we have to think about what's the likely distance between us and the thing if we're saying it's in the dining room, okay? So we use that information, again, knowing that we see the word mesa. So again, making sure that we have to make this thing agree in gender and number. So mesa we know is feminine and singular. So we can, again, we could have found this the right answer just based on that information too, because eso is that kind of gender neutral one that we learned, so that can't be right. Aquel is masculine, so that can't be right. So we know the answer has to be esta. Esta mesa. This one. Do you like this one? Okay, now, número 3. ¿Cuánto cuestan esos, esas, aquella libros? So we're describing here the libros. So we're asking the price. How much do they cost? Okay, so let's see. Which one do we think will fit best to describe the libros? Okay, so, ¿cuánto cuestan? So again, libros we know are masculine and plural, so we can already eliminate aquella from our options. And we saw estas is feminine and plural, so we can eliminate that from our options. So it's esos. Esos libros. Okay, número 4. ¿Dónde pongo este, esa, or estas sofá? So now this one we think about, where should I put blank sofa? Okay, now this one it can trip you up a little bit because sofa, it ends with an A, but es masculino, it's a masculine word. So it's el sofá. So make sure you keep that in mind when you choose the right answer. So we know just based on that, we have to say este, this. Where should I put this sofa? Este sofá. Because esa is feminine and estas is also feminine and plural. So we know that it can't match. Okay, número 5. Esa, eso, or aquel no es lo que yo quiero decir. Okay, this one's a little bit more of a challenge. We say, no es lo que quiero decir. So it's not what I want to say. Okay, so you think about this one and what kind of description we're talking about here when we say like it's or that's not what I want to say. This is falling into the last case we talked about the ones where we're like it's something very general, something that we can't really define. So it's going to be a kind of gender neutral thing because we would say it's like what I want to say. That's not really an object, so we can't say, oh, we know that that's masculine or that's feminine or singular or plural. So we're going to use the gender neutral option here that we learned from the last group. So this is where we should go with eso. Eso is that gender neutral option that we talked about. So eso no es lo que quiero decir. That's not what I want to say. Okay. All right. Siguiente. On to the next one. Número 6. Esos, ese, esa, libro es mío, pero este, ese, esto es tuyo. Okay, so we're trying to say this book is mine, but that book is yours, right? So if we're going to say this book, oh, sorry, I said the opposite. That book is mine, this book is yours. Okay, so if we're saying for libro, again, so we know libro because libro is masculine and singular, so we can find the right option. So esos won't work because it's plural. Ese maybe could work. It's masculine and singular, so it could work. Esa is feminine, so we know that can't work. So it has to be ese. Ese libro. That book is mine. Pero this one is yours. So think about it. If ese was for that book, and then we're saying, but this one is yours. So this one, we're going to use the word este. Este. So remember, esto is for gender neutral, so we're not using gender neutral here. And then ese we just used for the last one, so we know we can't use it again. So it's este. Es tuyo. Okay, last one, número 7. Esto, esta, aquella, blank, es una tontería. Okay, so this one, tontería is our key vocabulary word here. Tontería is like kind of like nonsense or silliness. So we think about this. Esta, aquella, esto. This one, again, is a case where we don't really have some kind of context to something that we know what we're explicitly referring to. We're just like, that silliness. Okay, so we don't know. So we're going to use the neutral option again here to say esto, because again, we're not referring to something quite specific that we can define and choose a gender or number for it. So we're saying esto, like this thing in general, this unspecified thing is craziness, it's nonsense. Okay, so esto. Muy bien. All right, so that's the first exercise. And now we're going to do, I think, just a snippet of the next exercise to get just a little bit more practice of doing a quick translation. So we're going to do just the first half. So we'll do up to número 8, and then we'll kind of wrap it up there. And again, as I said, I'm going to put more on the website so you'll have more to practice with. So for the second exercise, we have to say this pen. So again, we're translating from English to Spanish. Okay. So vamos for this pen. Okay, so this one, depending on which word you want to use, there are 2 vocabulary words for the word pen. So you can, for example, we have the word bolígrafo, or there's another word which is pluma. So the thing that's important here is that because bolígrafo is masculine and pluma is feminine, we're going to use slightly different words to describe this part. Okay, so but if it's bolígrafo, masculine, and we want to say this one here, aquí, so we know that for masculine singular option, we should use este bolígrafo. Or if we're going to use our other option, describing a pluma, the only thing that's going to change is the gender. So then we use esta pluma. Este bolígrafo, esta pluma. Número 2, this book. Again, describing something that's right here with the libro. Okay. So we have libro, and again, something is located right here, so we can reuse the same thing again we had for bolígrafo in the first one, because libro is also masculine and singular, so it's the same pronoun. Este libro. Número 3, these lamps. So we're getting into the plural here. So lamps, word for lamp for vocabulary is lámpara. So we're going to use lámparas. And so instead of saying this lamp, it's these lamps aquí, here. Okay. So lámparas, if you can guess based on the ending, we can hear that it's a feminine word because lámpara ends with a and it's plural. So we need to use the feminine plural word here describing lámparas. Okay. So we're going to use the word estas for lámparas, right? Remember, this is the feminine plural option. Este, esta, estos, estas. Estas lámparas. Okay, número 4, these couches. So again, remembering that the word for couch or sofa in Spanish is masculine, even though it's sofá. So we have to be careful here, make sure we're choosing the right word to describe sofás, okay? So we know, as I just said, sofá is masculine, and we're gonna talk about plural, more than one. So sofás, so we need to use the masculine plural option, which is remember, este, esta, estos, estas. So estos sofás. All right, número 4. So we're halfway there. We have 4 more to go before we wrap up for this exercise today. On to número 5, those carpets. Now we're talking about allí, right? Before we're talking about aquí, now we're talking about allí. And be careful with the word carpet. We don't want to use the word carpeta in Spanish. Carpeta is a false, un amigo falso, a false friend. Carpeta in Spanish means a folder, not the carpet. So just be careful. Be careful on those ones. That it's not the kind of the simple what you think of as the word in Spanish. It's not carpeta. It's actually alfombra for a carpet or a rug. So again, in this case, we're talking about those ones over there. So allí. So now we're into the range of words that are ese, esa, esos, and esas. So we have to choose the right thing to describe alfombras. Okay, so feminine, plural. So esas alfombras. Alfombras. So where we have ese, esa, esos, esas for these options, and alfombras is feminine, plural. Okay, número 6, that bed. Okay, so again, allí, there, bed, cama, you can hear is feminine, singular. Okay, so again, just choosing between the same 4 words as we did the last one, between ese, esa, esos, esas, we're going to use esa because it's feminine singular to go with cama. Esa cama. All right, dos más. Número 7, those buildings. Okay, so building is edificio. Edificio. You can hear from the ending, it ends with O, so it's going to be masculine. And we say here, we can see here it's buildings. So edificios. Okay, so again, we're choosing the same between the same 4 words here. Ese, esa, esos, esas. And now knowing that edificios is masculine and plural, we're going to choose esos. Esos edificios. Okay, last one for that pillow. Pillow. This one is another kind of a little bit obscure of a vocabulary word. The word is almohada. Almohada. Okay, so you can hear based on the ending almohada, it's going to be feminine. Okay, so let's work with that. So that pillow. Okay, again, so we're going to be choosing from the words that describe things that are allí, which are ese, esa, esos, esas. And almohada, we can hear is feminine and singular. So, esa. Esa almohada. That pillow. Muy bien. I know it's a lot of information to keep track of, but of course, the more you practice, the easier it will get. And like I said, the lucky thing about this is the kind of thing that you can practice every day on your own, just describing the environment you have around you. So you don't need to wait for the opportunity to take a Spanish class to practice with these and to use them frequently, because that's really how you're going to get to learn them and use them correctly and use them quickly too, because you won't have to think so much every time if you have the practice to use these again and again, and you just kind of pull them out of your brain as you need to describe things. So definitely recommend to, in addition to watching the videos again and doing the exercises I'm going to post, it's just to use it to describe your environment around you. So, muy bien, that's all for today. Gracias y adiós. We'll see you again on Friday at 12 a las 12 el viernes. Gracias y adiós.